you ever observed the people around you? Specifically friend. You ever observed friends? If I say the word villain or menace, what friend pops up in your head? Who's the first person you think of? So today, we're gonna be going over 5 ways to tell if your friend is a villain. I don't know if I'm gonna title the video that or not. I think we're gonna see. But this is basically 5 ways to tell that you're friends with a villain, or that your friend is a villain, or that they're approaching villainhood or villainy or ministry or whatever. Ministry, is that a word? Ministry? Number 1, I would say anybody who owns an exotic pet. You need to keep an eye on them. I'm talking, these are the people that own snakes. These are the people that own tarantulas. If you own a tarantula, why? Like, I don't any kind of snake, especially those huge snakes, bro. If you're friends with somebody who owns a snake that's bigger than your body, that's like taller than you for whatever reason, you might want to be careful. I wouldn't sleep over at his house neither, bro. Absolutely not. I'm sorry, no. Rats, I wouldn't say gerbils, but I'd say like general, like rats, like sewer rats. Whenever you go into public or whenever you're together, for some reason, whatever animal is around, whether it be like a dog, a cat, or a bird or something like that, when animals are around this person, they get uneasy. There's a dog and the dog thinks you're fine. The dog's just minding his business, but it gets by that one person and the dog just starts going crazy. It's like, "Arr!" That is the easiest way to know, because animals have different settings than humans. So it's like, naturally, if your dog is barking at something, and let's say it barks all the time, you're gonna be kind of worried. So if you have somebody come over, let's say a new guy or a friend or whatever, your dog gets around them and the dog is barking at them for what seems like no reason, keep an eye on that person, because that dog sees something that you don't. Sign number 2, they say dark things way too casually. Let's say you see something messed up happen, like on the news or the internet or something like that, and then they hit you with a line that sounds like it's straight out of like a Disney villain movie, it sounds like a Disney villain said it. Like, it sounds calculated, like he's been waiting to say it. These people, and usually with these hints, it has to be something you have to watch, because you can't call them out on it, because none of this is gonna be stuff, and trust me, if you're friends with an actual like bad person, none of this is going to be stuff you can call them out on, because they know what they're doing. Any person who sits and sees something messed up happen, or can just say extremely dark things for no reason, like Robin from One Piece, how they would just be chilling on the island and she'd be like, man, I wonder if they're going to chop us in half or throw us on the grill. Like, they find violence funny. Oh my gosh. If you're friends with somebody who finds violence funny, maybe you are that kind of person. This is the friend that's going to say something slick, like that one teacher, right? Remember that teacher that said, oh, if I was a shooter, I would have went around the back. And if you have a friend that's doing that, why? People, they will ease in their personality, like what they really think, with jokes. You have to be careful with these type of people, because they will ease in like how they really feel, but they'll joke about it, so that if you call them out, they could just have the cop out, oh, I was just joking. After watching this video, if you're thinking of that one person, if you're thinking of somebody, you might want to be careful. You're probably not, but you might want to be careful, because they're greasing you up. They're greasing you up nice and smooth. And next time, as soon as they go to implement their darkness, why'd I do that? I might talk with my hands. Darkness. It's probably gonna be too late. I knew a guy, and this was back when I was like a freshman in high school. Somehow we got on the topic of like hitmen and assassinations. Like, we were talking about a game, I think, and then we got on a topic of like hitmen and assassinations. Oh, how much money would you do? And I said, yeah, you can't pay me enough money to go whack somebody. Like, that's just not gonna happen. You know what he told me? This is like, I swear I'm gonna recite this like verbatim. This is what he told me. The more you blame it on that person, the less you feel it on yourself. I said, what do you mean? He said, so let's say somebody gives me X amount, $10,000 to go kill somebody. I'm like, okay. He said, I'm just gonna tell the person, oh, I don't know what you did, but whatever you did to deserve this, you deserve. That's what bro. When I heard, that's one of those things, and I'm like, well, what do you mean you're gonna tell them? And he said, so what, you're just karma? And he said, yeah, basically I'm gonna explain to them that I'm their karma, and it takes all the negativity off me and it just puts it on them. He said, the more you put it on them, the better you'll feel about it. Point 3, they struggle with accountability. Nothing is their fault. Now, you might think at first, well, this seems more like it's gonna hurt the person more than it's gonna hurt me. So why would I really care? How does that make them a villain? How does that make them evil? I'm gonna tell you why. If somebody's dodging accountability, that could be more than just not owning up to it. That could be blaming you. That could be blaming, I don't know, other people, blaming their circumstances. It could be literally anything else, or like even justifying what they did is also a form of lacking accountability. So for example, when the whole team is getting mopped up, he's nowhere to be found. That's this person. He's making the excuse, oh, I didn't have mats, or oh, I didn't know, or I was trying to do this, or I was busy doing this. This is the person who does that. Watch out for those people, because 9 times out of 10, especially like in life, those people will leave you in the water. Those people will leave you in the water. So it's like, don't listen. This is gonna sound like kind of crazy. Everybody has some of these tendencies to some degree. So you're never gonna find a perfect person. There's never gonna be a person you're gonna come across. I look at people like stat boards. So it's like, okay, this person's good at this, they're good at this, they're good at this, but I wouldn't trust them here or here. Whatever that you wouldn't trust them is needs to be like at its worst, you'll still be fine. So anybody who does accountability, you need to look at the maximum of that and be like, okay, this person is ducking accountability this hard. What is that gonna look like if we get into a serious situation? You're being interrogated with this friend. You didn't do anything, he didn't do anything. But he's so scared of being in trouble, he says it was you just so he can relieve himself of that tension. That's why, like, ducking accountability, it can be really bad. So if your friend is ducking smoke on the game, if you're getting attacked in public, they're probably gonna watch. Like, they're not gonna help you. Because what the villains do, yeah, back to the point. Hold on, why does it say like the camera's like, the angle's off? Like, oh my gosh. Number 4, we have people that like to instigate. Now, I know what you're thinking. Duh, this is definitely going to be on the list. Now, these people aren't really bad. Honestly, if I could pick a friend outside like the whole pet thing, if I had to be friends with somebody who had one of the characteristics I've talked about so far, it would probably be instigating, because it's easy to call out and you just know, like, okay, he's instigating. It's not something you really need a 10,000 IQ to see. If you have a friend, which, listen, I'm gonna tell people this because somebody might be watching this video and they have a friend that's like, or they know somebody that's instigating but actively putting them in danger. Instigating should stay in the friend circle. That being said, anybody who's not in that friend circle, this person shouldn't be instigating. They're not there for like you. They're there for the violence. That's what it is. If this person only shows up and craves violence and can't exist without violence being in the mix, your friend's a villain. I hate to tell you, but yeah, it's only a matter of time before they pull up and start committing various acts of rage bait and getting you in trouble. I'm assuming you all have good hearts, hopefully. There might be somebody watching this video taking notes, like, oh, okay, let me do that. You know who's a good example of this? Is Leland. Leland from RDC. He is one of the best instigators I've ever seen in my life. Leland is so concise. This is gonna be an Orlov. Leland is so concise with the way he like instigates. It's like Doflamingo. He kind of reminds me of Doflamingo. I'd be like watching some of their streams and then an argument would start. And I would always find it funny. You know, when you go back to like see the beginning, like see how it built up. For some reason, Leland is always in the cut. He's always in the cut. He always had something to say, even if it was just a sentence. I wouldn't consider them all villains. The only time it's a villain is if it's somebody you really don't know when they're instigating. You just need to get away from that person because they're gonna start a fight between you. And also there are some instigators, they can make you, let's say they wanna fight you. You're all emotional. They're gonna say stuff that makes you mad and get you to like hit them or hit somebody else. These people are also like manipulative. They're very manipulative. And the last one, number 5. And this is like actual, like not joking, like being serious. This is actually like the people that are this way have most of the characteristics we just talked about. These are people that have very disturbing worldviews, the way they see the world, and they explain it in a way that, you know, if they had power, they'd be a bad person. So for instance, this is somebody who like every chance they get, they're looking to talk about how the world should be or how people should act or how, you know, XYZ should, what they would do if they had this. Like I was talking about in another video, it was a friend and he basically said if he had superpowers, he'd like rule the world and anybody who didn't adhere to that would die. Like these type of people are ones you have to watch out for because when they tell you these things, they're not joking. These people are rare. I'm not gonna lie, these people are exceptionally like rare to come across. It sounds crazy like I'm talking about some kind of monster or something, which I think they are. They don't like emotions for some reason. They feel like, any emotion that's too much, like, too much happiness is bad, too much sadness is, like they did something about emotions just like set them off. And they like lack empathy. These like really empty shells of people. That's what I call them. I call them like shells of people. Like they just see the world like as a straight line. If this person, this is the friend that you know, if they had power and not just power like superpowers, if they had like power like in the world, like they were rich or something like that, they would be a bad person. We all can tell if somebody's lying or not, like you just feel it. But these type of people, you just know they're not lying. You ever hear somebody say something, the way they explain their plans and the way they talk is so serious and so sincere. You start to feel uneasy being around them. All I'm gonna say is this person who isn't my friend, I'm gonna just make that clear right now. He was the friend of my friend, which I was hanging out with him and he said, oh, I almost said his name. He said, I got Richard. Yeah. He said, I got Richard coming over. Who's Richard? He's like, oh, he's been my friend since school, XYZ. And I'm like, okay, I don't like new people. I don't like, so I'm like, whatever. Bro, tell me why Richard gets to the house. And then before Richard comes, my friend warned me. He says, Richard is fascinated with history and rulers. I said, what do you mean? He said, like, he likes to study people like dictators and XYZ. And I'm like, By this point, I know what's coming. He gets to the house and he starts defending the big H. He wasn't doing it in a way saying he was right. He was agreeing with a lot of the way he viewed the world. And I'm listening to this, and the whole time, like when you're around people and somebody says something you don't agree with, but you don't really want to make everybody uncomfortable, so you just you just kind of just like stop looking. You try to not pay attention. That's how it was with this dude. These people, and the way he said it, he meant it too. He wasn't joking or anything. He genuinely saw the world that way. With anything I've said in this video, if somebody pops up in your head, I'm gonna just stare at you. That's all I'm gonna say. You know what's coming. They don't know what they're saying. They don't know that what they're saying is wrong because they view it so normally. They do it so normally. When you call these people out, if you do after this video, which I doubt anybody will, nothing's really gonna change. I don't know. I guess it's just people in general, right? But yeah. I'd say the worst one on this list is probably the pet one. I'm still on that. Yeah, man. You got, bro, your friend owns an exotic venomous snake for some reason. You're like, oh, what does that do? Oh yeah, if it bites you, you're gonna do backflips, you're gonna grow wings, and then you're gonna disintegrate. Really? Yeah, I'm gonna say this to you as a viewer. Whoever popped up in your head when I talked about any one of these points,